Hey guys, this is Arsenal Giants PS3, and sorry there's been a bit of a break with my ratings videos, but we have the big two now, Manchester City and Manchester United. I'm sure these are the ones people will have their eye on really. Can these teams challenge, the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona on FIFA 13, and which one will I rate better? Now, I've been as diplomatic as possible. Again, I've spoken to a lot of Manchester United fans. I've spoken to a lot of Manchester City fans. I've taken a gap, so some of the big transfers are in there, including Mr. Robin van Persie himself. But we're going to start off with Manchester City. Now, Manchester City, their first title in a long time, and it came due to having some sensational footballers. And here we go. Straight off the bat, we have Joe Hart. Now, Joe Hart is not the best goalkeeper in the Premier League yet. Now, I've got to be as careful as I can. Again, guys, I just want to say, on the right-hand side, I just work all the stats to get an overall. I don't work them individually, so, Nasri's ball control could be 99. That's just to get him into whatever level or whatever, and that's not necessarily because I think so. Also, my audio has been fucking up recently, so if it suddenly sounds like my balls are dropping or some other shit like that, some of the problems I have with the audio, I do apologise. I don't know what's going on. My mic is getting old and I need a new one, but I haven't got around to that yet. So again, guys, I'm sorry if there's some really shocking audio changes or suddenly I age 25 years or something. But anyway, back onto Joe Hart. He's not the best goalkeeper in the Premier League yet. He is getting there rapidly though, and I've given him one less level than I gave Petr Cech, purely because he hasn't quite got the nous or the experience yet, or the that kind of, he hasn't got that Champions League experience tied down. He had a tough time against Cavani at his near post when they went to Naples, and he's a very, very good goalkeeper, and that's why 84 would make him the second best, but he's not quite as good as Cech yet. Next up we have Pablo Zabaleta, a horrifically underrated player. Zabaleta is a fine player, and I mean, he had 22 appearances last year as they won the Premier League. He scored, that vital goal against QPR, I think it was QPR, on the last day of the season, and he's just a very good player, and I think 81's about right. He would be statistically one of the better right backs in the Premier League. Next up we have Company. Now, Company is a very, very, very good player. I have a lot of time for Vincent Company, purely because he's very well spoken. He's very polite. He doesn't go trash talking his opponents, and he is sensational on the pitch as well. I mean, he does a superb job at just keeping his head, but playing very, very good tackles, controlling and orchestrating that defence, and that's why 86 is about right for him. I think besides one other very, very important player, that would make him the second best centre back in the Premier League. I'll leave the identification of that other player a bit ambiguous at the moment. That all will be revealed, but I think Company is definitely the second best at the moment, and he is one of the reasons they won that. He scored that goal at the Etihad against Manchester United, which almost guaranteed those points. Next up we have Lescott, one of the best English defenders, I would say. He's really coming along, and I think 82 is about right for him. Really, he's a very, very, very good centre back, and he does his job perfectly. He did have a couple of cock ups, that's why I think 82 is about right for him. But I just think that if he's going to be rated 82, I think that'd be fair enough, as he'd be a very good defender, and I think he should have a bit of a pace upgrade. Next up we have Clichy. Clichy was much better than he ever was at Arsenal for us. Who's one of the defenders that played during our unbeaten season, and I think 81's about right for him. He's not the world's greatest defender by any stretch. He can be very, very dodgy at the back, but he's good going forward, and he's generally a relatively good left back. A decent player, and I think 81's about right. Next up we have this guy. Now, I've given him a crazy rating, 87. Might be crazy to some, maybe not to others, but Yaya Toure is one of the best players in the league. He's pushing on that spot for the best. He's not quite there yet, and we've had so many new additions. It's going to be hard to really tie down that spot. But I just think Yaya Toure is one of the best players we've had for a long time. I mean, he reminds me of Vieira when we went unbeaten. He's just that kind of player, and he scored those vital goals against Newcastle. Pretty sure it was 2, and got 6 goals in total last year. He's just in the league. He's just a very, very complete all-round midfielder, and I'm sure Barca are kicking themselves for letting him go. Next up we have Barry. I've given him a 1 upgrade. He's the footballing equivalent of Vanilla. Does his job not very interesting, not very exciting, but does his job. 82 is about right for him. Next up we have David Silva. Now I think the 88 rating he was given last year was somewhat premature by EA. They upped him by 1 in January. I think he is an 87. He struggled a lot in the second half of the season, but he's a world class player nonetheless. 23 league 18 is what I'm on about. 18 assists last year and 6 goals in the league for City. That's absolutely ridiculous, and obviously scored the first goal in the Euro 2012 final. He is one of the best midfielders in the world at the moment, and I think 87 reflects that. He's not quite up there with, your Iniestas at 90, 91, but he's a very good player. Next up we have Aguero. Not quite the best striker in the Premier League yet, but give him time. He's 22. He will be there before you know it, and 23 league goals last year is crazy. He deserves it. He's an 87 through and through, just such a talented footballer. Shame we saw him injured yesterday, but hopefully he'll be back to scoring goals soon. Next up we have Nasri. I'm not going to be bitter to Nasri, I'm not going to lie. I hated him because of the way he left, but he is a sensational footballer. There's not much he can't do. He was held the new Zidane, and if he gets time for Man City, I'm sure he'll reach it. He's a wonderful, wonderful footballer. A twat, well, maybe not a twat, maybe that's a bit harsh. A dodgy lifestyle, I guess, but a very good footballer. And I've only downgraded him 1 because he struggled to find his feet at first for Manchester City, and he was rated an 86 over the 2010-2011 season he had for Arsenal, where he was quite simply sensational. Didn't quite reach those levels last year, but scored some vital goals. I think it was Newcastle or Spurs or whatever at the Etihad, and was a very, very good player. So an 85 is about right for him. Next up we have another very admired footballer by some and hated by others. It's Mario Balotelli. I think he deserves an 84. He was sensational at Euro 2012. Really struck a name for himself. He has quite crazy a crazy temperament on him, and that's because he is 19, 20, however old he is, so 21 maybe. He is young, he is growing, but he is such a good footballer. When he turns it on, he really turns it on, and I think an 84 is about right for him. Same rating Dzeko got last year. Alternatively, I haven't actually upgraded them, but I'd say Dzeko, Tevez. Tevez is a weird one. I would have put Tevez at an 86 maybe, and Dzeko an 83. Both good strikers, and if Aguero doesn't come back to fitness, they'll be needed. So thanks guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode.